Hey there everybody, Mazrock here, and today I'm going to be going over the two tank classes that I said I was going to play in Shadowlands when before it launched. I've always had a big affinity for the Death Knight and the Prot Warrior. Nothing against the other tanks, just not my style of gameplay really. I've always liked the aesthetics, I've always liked the skills and everything like that, and these are the two tanks that I said I want to really give a good tryout and to work with. So today we are going to go over the strengths of the Blood DK and the strengths of the Prot Warrior and their weaknesses to help you make a better decision. Now if you're already running Mythic plus 10 keys, guess what? This video is probably not for you. You've picked your tank and you're rocking it right out. But if you are deciding on whether you want to play a Blood DK or you want to play a Prot Warrior because the meta, aka Vengeance Demon Hunters, really aren't kind of your thing, there's a lot of strengths as well in the other ones. Prot Paladins are bringing a lot to the table. Bear Druids are bringing a lot to the table as well. And Brewmasters, I mean, just look at their strengths as well. With the stagger mechanic and things like that, they're doing really, really good. But so I'm going to focus on the two that I really, really liked. If you guys really, really want a review on the other ones, what I can do is I can level those up, gear them up. It does not take me long at all, and I can rock that out for you guys if you guys want to see more tank gameplay and more tanking guides and things like that. So, the Blood Death Knight. The Blood Death Knight does bring a lot to the table that is absolutely amazing with a lot of the affixes, and even in the raid. Number one being grips. Do not undervalue the grips. They have been absolutely fantastic for us going into Mythics. They have been just absolutely wonderful. So Gorfine's Grasp, well timed and well placed, just makes life a lot easier, and of course getting your mobs into place. Now the grips are amazing, but that is part of it's to circumvent part of the weaknesses of the Death Knight. You're slow. You're not moving a lot. And when you are, it's not very quickly. The Death Knight is all about getting to a mob and setting up that mob where you want it through moving them. So you got to kind of remember that. The rotation, though, is pretty easy. I'm not going to lie. You want... Blood Boil is your main AoE. Get your plague all over the place. The better legendary, now I haven't done Stone Legion Generals on this character yet, so I haven't gotten the Super Strain legendary in Shadowlands yet, but I imagine it's going to be all of that. I would really, really like it. We are coming across to a point where we're doing we came across a quick skip for Sludge Fist, Stone Legion Generals, and Sidon Athreus in normal as we prog through heroic. So I will be asking if I can bring in my DK. I'll run Unholy, and because we have two amazing tanks, I'm gonna get my Super Strain legendary and try that out a little bit more and have a lot more fun with it. But right now, the legendary I'm running is the Brindor's Might, which Death Strike refunds 15% of Runic power spent if it heals for more than 10% of your maximum health. Now this works really, really well in tandem with the talent Voracious, because Voracious Death Strike heal is increased by 20% and granting you 15% leech for 8 seconds. This talent actually means that your legendary procs on every Death Strike. You're getting big heals. So you are a lot more survivable with that. It's night and day. I've tested it out with and without, and you get a lot of big Death Strike healing from it. It's really, really worth it. As per the talents go, for Mythics, I stick with Heartbreaker, single target Blood Drinker. Hemostasis has been my go-to, as well as Relish in Blood. Will of the Necropolis, this goes off a lot. Damage taken below 30% health is reduced by 30%. It's a very, very nice tool to have. It always goes off. There's no timer on it. And it's been absolutely wonderful. World questing, I'll do Break the Walk. I like moving a little bit faster. But aside from that, if I'm in dungeons, mythics, or anything with any ads, I run Grip of the Dead. That 90% slow really allows you to position the battlefield, which is a big strength of the Death Knight. Making sure that everything stays put, and if something's getting away, you just grip it right back, and nah, buddy, you coming right here. You do the whole Mortal Kombat Scorpion thing. I've been running Voracious because I am running that legendary. Now, when I get the Super Strain legendary, I'm probably going to make the switch over to Bloodworms. The auto attacks have a chance to infect your targets with Bloodworms. It is a DPS increase, and it still gives you a lot of passive healing. Very, very good talent. I'm just running Voracious right now because the legendary that I have. They just work so well in synergy together. My damage is a little bit low, admittedly. A little bit lower than what it could be because the Bloodworms do add a little bit more DPS than what you may think. It is worth it. And then when it comes to single target, I run Red Thirst. In Mythic scenarios right now, I am running Bone Storm. It doesn't really matter which one you want to choose. Both are good. I have a lot of fun with Bone Storm. It's a 1 minute cooldown. It works really, really well in synergy with my other cooldowns, and it allows for a lot more AoE damage because I'm finding the mobs right now in a lot of the Shadowlands dungeons are a little bit tougher than normal. So they can get a little bit bigger. If you got an oh crap moment, which tends to happen a lot right now, as a lot of us are still trying to figure out the exact routes and the exact paths. So I've been running Bone Storm, having a lot of fun with it, but Red Thirst is an absolute go-to as well. If that's what you like doing, you'll get Vampiric Blood a lot more than what you think. Right now, the best in-slot Covenant for a Blood DK is Venthyr. 1 minute cooldown, really, really good. But as you can see here on the screen, I actually did make the swap away. I'm not trying for Mythic Prog on my Blood DK. I'm leaving that with actually my DPS classes, because we have a lot of really, really good tanks and high-end tanks. These are just kind of to help people gear up, do lower level mythics and things like that. I swapped over to Necrolords. Yes, I made a Covenant swap over from Venthyr to Necrolords. Necrolords are by far my personal favorite Covenant as for lore, aesthetic, and everything. And I did not have a Necrolord after I made the Warlock switch for pure DPS reasons over to Nightfang. And unfortunately, the other classes that I have, Necrolord's like the worst option for them. And I don't mean the worst option in terms of they're still competitive. They're just not. That something needs to change there, because I feel the Necrolord Covenant is really, really being left out on a lot of classes. I did go through a lot of class guides, and it's kind of sad how little Necrolord is up there. They're usually rated 3rd or 4th for basically every class. There's a few classes where they're really, really high up there, but I mean that number is very much in the few. I'd like to see a lot of Necrolord buffs across the board for a lot of the classes to try and maybe fix that for newcomers and things like that, because the aesthetics are just all around fantastic. The Abomination Limb ability, I'll test that out right now. That arm, it's a 2 minute cooldown, deals tons of damage, and sucks people in. So if you're having a lot of problems with mobs getting away from you, Abomination Limb is definitely the way to go. It's a great damage dealer, 2 minute cooldown, and works all around great. And as well as it goes off, it gives you stacks of Bone Shield. So it's really, really works in tandem and well together. I have run a couple mythics since getting Abomination Limb as a Blood DK. Although I felt my overall damage throughout the course of the dungeon go down, I had a hell of a lot more fun. And at the end of the day, if you're not having fun, why are you even playing? It offers more control, offers Bone Shield when you absolutely need it, especially at the start. You can kind of, skip that Marrowmend transition, which is, I found really, really nice, because it can be tedious if your stacks of Bone Shield drop off. If something happens, you have to let your healer drink up, because they need to keep you alive. I found that was really, really fun. You can go into a pack, pop Abomination Limb, boom, within a couple seconds you got 10 stacks of Bone Shield, and then you're set up for a Bone Storm. It works really, really well. It works really, really well together. So I'm noticing now there are more buttons to press as well for Blood DKs. You got a lot. So you got your nice Death and Decay. Again, 90% slow when you're talented into it. Heart Strike hits everything within that Death and Decay. You're really, really good at AoE. It's just you don't have a lot of AoE abilities. You tend to spam a lot of Heart Strike, Death and Decay, and Blood Boils as often as you can. Those are your main go-tos. But you do have a lot of defensives, so that's a really good point. Now, here is the big weakness of the Blood DK. You have very little active mitigation. You have Icebound Fortitude, 30% less damage for 8 seconds, and it does grant you immunity to all stun effects, which is really, really nice. And you have Rune Tap, costing you a rune for 20% less damage for 4 seconds. Those are your main mitigations, but you have Death Strike. Now, Death Strike, as we went earlier, will heal you for a chunk of the damage that it deals. and that varies depending on how much damage was dealt to you, as well as kind of how you're spec'd. But that makes it difficult to heal. Now, I have a lot of amazing healers in our guild, so when I run the Blood DK, I don't have an issue. Pug healers that have never healed a DK, not used to it, are used to your more standard classes or brewmasters, or those that have that constant source of mitigation, struggle healing a DK. I have been in some pretty terrible pugs. Admittedly, it has not been the most fun thing in the world at times, and that's where my struggle lies with the weakness is when healers don't know how to heal DKs. Like, you need to be able to be confident in your tank that he knows when you're going to death strike right, but that takes practice. So if you're a new Blood DK with a new healer that has not healed Blood DKs before or very much, it's not exactly a match made in heaven, but it doesn't mean it's going to go bad. It requires a different sort of healing, because the Blood DK's thing is you take the damage, then you heal yourself back up. So it's very common for you to ping pong down to 30, up to 80, down to 40, up to 90, down to 20, up to 70. It goes a lot like that. So a healer that just doesn't realize that's what's going on can overheal you a lot, waste a lot of mana. It's one of the bigger weaknesses. So the two weaknesses, in my opinion, for Blood DK are mobility. It's always been an issue with Blood DKs, and kind of the healer to tank interaction. Again, this is something with my guildies. If you have guildies and you're running a Blood DK, you can talk to them about it, work with them on how to do it, and with some practice and some running together, they'll get a feel for how you heal yourself with your death strikes and when you do it, so they can gain that confidence in you and knowing when, instead of just trying to do big heals, lay on hands, your Holy Word Serenities, and just try and cram all that in there. So it's just something to think about. That's kind of my main opinion on the Blood DK. Aside from that, I've been having a lot of fun with it. It has been super, super fun world questing. I can basically run anywhere and take on anything, except for, the stuff that has the world bosses that have like 1 million health. Yeah, sure. You're gonna need a group for that. But if you're world questing through the world in a Blood DK, you might kill things a little bit slower than in Holy, but you are not dying. You can just keep healing yourself back up, and when you have that oh crap moment, you pop Vampiric Blood, increases the healing of your death strikes. There's a lot of positives with the Death Knights. But now we're going to go over to the Prot Warrior. Now the Prot Warrior I have been having a lot of fun with ever since I got its legendary. So we're going to talk pre-legendary, and we're going to talk after legendary with the Prot Warrior. Of course, now my computer wants to load a little bit slower, and it still is in the early mornings for me, so I'm gonna drink a coffee. So here I have my Orc Warrior. He's been an orc since Kata, has had tons of fun with him. There is a lot to say for the Prot Warrior. I think it's a really underrated tanking class. I've spoken with my healers about healing my Prot Warrior versus my Blood DK, how it goes. There's a lot less stress, because your active mitigation is constant. You have Ignore Pain right here that I have set right there. So ignoring 50% of the pain, totaling up to 5,900 damage. So you take half, Ignore Pain absorbs the other half. And this is constant. All it costs is 40 rage, which you are generating quickly enough. And Shield Block. I find Shield Block is a lot better. So you raise your shield, you block all melee attacks against you for 6 seconds. These attacks block critical blocks as well, and it increases shield slam damage by 30% while active. It is a very good source of constant mitigation. Now, in BFA, there was ways to get shield block uptime all the time. You don't have that now. There are a few seconds here and there where you don't have it. But between Ignore Pain and Shield Block, you're actively ignoring a lot of damage. You're actively mitigating a lot of damage as part of your regular rotation, which they say, like, they can go half of a fight and not put a heal on me until they just, pop something big, or, they see me get down to 50, put something on me, and boom, I'm back up. And then it's just it's a much more slower trickle down when you're doing it right. Now, my problems with Protection Warrior were gearing up. So pre-legendary, I found rage generation to be much more difficult. So you'd pop your Demo Shout, which has a 45-second cooldown. You'd generate 40 rage when you talent into booming voice, which you absolutely should be doing. And then that way you can get your ignore pain, your shield block, and then start working towards your regular rotation. Thunderclaps, shield slams, revenges, and things like that, and kind of go forward. I found rage generation to be a little bit more of a problem, and I found I was actually taking a lot more damage than what I needed to be taking, but that's due to the legendary effect of these beautiful stompers. I got the Thunderlord Stompers. So each enemy hit by Thunderclap reduces the remaining cooldown on Demo Shout by 1.5 seconds up to 4.5. The mobs in the Mythic Dungeons are done in such a way where you will constantly be fighting a mob of 3 or 4. Demo Shout, I cast it. I'll go in, charge, heroic leap, Thunderclap for some quick, quick threat gen. Demo Shout, revenge, shield block, ignore pain. You have the time to do all that because you've generated that much more rage. And right after you get that second Thunderclap off in your rotation, boom, 4.5 seconds removed. And this works really, really well in synergy with Unstoppable Force. So Avatar increases the damage of Thunderclap, but reduces its cooldown by 50%. This is where you can spam this. So when you get into a mob, you can cast Avatar once you have your Demo Shout and all of that done. And then it's like Thunderclap, Revenge. Thunderclap, Shield Slam. Thunderclap, Revenge. Thunderclap, Shield Slam. Or whatever have you not. But you just watch the Demo Shout cooldown. Just bring it down. And Demo Shout reduces the damage that they deal, that all the enemies affected by deal to you by 20% for 8 seconds. Well, that initial bit, ignore pain, shield block, you're not taking a lot of damage. And by the point you get into Mythic Plus, where they might be raging, bursting, things like that, you have Demo Shout up again. It works really, really well together. I find myself, especially in Fort Weeks on higher keys, I'll be able to actually get on a big enough pack or a big enough chain pull, I'll have that Demo Shout constantly going, and the cooldown will get reduced to 18 to 21 seconds. So it's another source of damage mitigation and threat generation. So I've been having lots and lots of fun with Warrior. Now, as opposed to the Blood DK, the Warrior is zoomy. And I use that to my advantage as much as I can. I really like Double Time. It's a lot of fun to have that second charge, but I've been running Rumbling Earth, and I'll explain that in a little bit. Now, as you can see here, I went Night Fae. This is actually my third Night Fae character. Just so happens to be. Best in slot, yes, is Kyrian, but you can't get me to drink that Kool-Aid. I'm just not going to do it. So I did some research into kind of what was some better ones. If you're going to be playing arms a lot, Venthyr is an absolutely fantastic option that you should choose. I already have a Venthyr character as well that I'm planning on. And Night Fae, the Ancient Aftershock, is a great AoE ability for Mythics. It is fantastic. You place it, they get knocked back. It's constant damage, and honestly, it's a fantastic source of damage and another utility tool for interrupts and things like that at your disposal. And when well placed, is actually, from the math that I've seen, does more damage than the Kyrian ability. It just requires a little bit more placement on your part and a little bit more finesse. So just something to think about. Now, the utility that the Warrior brings. So not only are they a very selfless tank, as opposed to a DK being a selfish tank, because the Death Strikes are all about them and healing them and keeping them alive, but they have to. The Warrior brings a lot of great utility to a Mythic Plus, to a raid. Rallying Cry. So you increase all party or raid members' health, 20% temporary and 20% maximum health for 10 seconds. That is an amazing raid cooldown to have, especially in these sorts of raids where I'm noticing there's big raid damage happening at once. Lady Enerva is perfect. When you're doing a big drain on one of the anima jars, Rallying Cry, your healers will love you. Absolutely, they will love you. And on a 3-minute cooldown, it works great. And there is a Soulbind. I don't think I have it equipped now. Excuse me. Yeah. Which is Inspiring Presence. Rallying Cry duration and health is increased. So with this one here, I'm up to 26% health. a 26% health increase all around boom up for all of your healers, to just kind of see that go. So when people are getting chunked and the entire raid's down to 50, for your healers to see everyone go up to 50 instantly on a GCD, they love it. They love you for it. Now, for Mythics, I've been running the Shockwave cooldown. Disturb the Peace. Shockwave's cooldown is reduced by 7 seconds. And then I also run the Rumbling Earth. So when Shockwave strikes at least 3 targets, its cooldown is reduced by 15 seconds. So right off the bat, it's a 45-second cooldown, drop down, or 42-second cooldown, drop down to 34 seconds. You hit 3, it's dropped down to 19 seconds. Having Shockwave up 2 or 3 times a mob, mint. Because Shockwave also stuns the targets for 2 seconds. Really, really good, but it does require placement on your part. You need to know where you're facing, and you need to know kind of how you're working it. But it is I've just been having lots of fun with it. It's probably not the best. Stormbolt's probably the best, but I play with a lot of guildies who know when to stun, have lots of stuns, have lots of kicks, and I don't need to worry about stunning specific targets every 30 seconds. They've got that. Having that general Shockwave stun, I find, is the better and more fun option for the groups I'm playing with, but you can make an argument for both. You really, really can. The setup I've liked a lot. Now, Devastator, there's a lot of things to be said for it. Is a lot of fun. I've played with it, but I'm kind of a spammer. I always need something to be pressing. Devastator, I find you do have some times where you have to rely on your auto attacks a little bit more. Something's always got to be on GCD for me. Things always have to be going. I like spamming Devastate, so I go with Punish. Punish gives me active mitigation against the target that Shield Slam's hitting. Very, very good for bosses, and especially good for Tyrannical or even Fort Week. So if you need to, because we all know those Fort Weeks, some of those mobs can be insanely punishing. Having an active damage mitigation just in your rotation of Shield Slam is fantastic. Rumbling Earth, Booming Voice. Booming Voice is an absolute must. This row here, I know there's good options, but Booming Voice is by far the best. For Mythics, I run Crackling Thunder, just for better threat gens, increase the slows, all of that. For raiding, I found Bounding Stride to be a little bit better. There's some points where you got to zoom about. Having that 30-second zoom, jump off, is great. It's a lot of fun. Indomitable is the right play here. No matter what, it's just constant. It's good to go. When I am questing in harder areas, though, so if I'm going into Perdition Hold in the Maw, things like that, where things can really chew and eat you up, I'll play Impending Victory. I'd rather have more control over my health than see something more passive. And you have a 30% heal right off the bat. As well, you combine that with Last Stand. You get another maximum 30% health. It really, really works in tandem. And again, there's just a lot of good mitigation and a lot of good healing. Warriors were not known for healing, being able to heal and being self-sufficient. But right now, with the active amount of mitigation that you have, Ignore Pain, Shield Block, Demo Shout, you add those little things to it, and it really makes you into a force to be reckoned with. It really, really does. When I'm playing my Warrior, people are telling me, like, man, like, you barely have to heal me in lower keys. Like, it's just running a +5, the healer's focusing on damage. Disc Priest will put a bubble on me, get their atonement or whatever up, and then just kind of deal a bunch of damage and overheal me most of the time. Unstoppable Force, like we explained before, works insanely well with the Demo Shout Thunderlord cooldown. It all works in tandem. Getting that avatar going, getting those thunderclaps going, getting everything moving forward is just fantastic. And Anger Management, every 10 rage you spend reduces the remaining cooldown on avatar and shield wall by 1 second. This, again, the better of the plays here, but it works. It gets your avatar down. So you want to be, spending your revenges. And again, this is I'll get to this right now, actually. So I was having a problem with threat generation while leveling. I really was. I was going into these dungeons and I couldn't figure out why people were stealing threat gen away from me. And my mistake, I was only casting revenge on proc. I really was. Big old mistake on my part. I spam revenge. If there's more than one mob, in a mob, revenge is my go-to. Devastate afterwards is if I have no rage for some odd reason, or single target, Revenge is my go-to. Just kind of to work all of that in, and then Revenge when I have the chance. But Revenge costs 20 rage. So casting Revenge reduces Avatar by 2 seconds. See how it all starts to flow together? So, you know, you cast Avatar, you got your Demo Shout already on cooldown, you know, so Demo Shout, Avatar, you start spamming Thunderclaps. So Thunderclap Revenge, Thunderclap Revenge, Thunderclap Revenge, Shield Slams, whatever you can. You start draining the cooldown of Avatar, where most of the time, especially in, you know, +6 and higher keys, 9s, 10s, you start seeing that you have Avatar ready and up for mostly every pack. It's really, really nice. If not by the start of the pack, midway through, you'll have it there, which is, you know, a good place to have it. So these are all just things that work well in tandem with each other, which make the Warrior a ton of fun. It's just been a really good time with the Warrior. I've had a ton of fun. The weaknesses of the Warrior right now is you don't have a lot of magic mitigation, and this requires, the magic mitigation that you have requires timing on your part, but it's really, really good when you time it right, and it's a lot of fun. Spell Reflection. So you raise your shield, reflecting all spells cast on you and reducing the magical damage you take by 20%. Now it's only 20%, but this is an offensive cooldown as well. You time it right with the right spells. This requires practice, learning, and experience. You know, those Necrotic Bolts in Necrotic Wake, you spell reflect that, you're gonna see, you know, you're gonna see the enemy get chunked, but it requires communication with your party for them to say, hey, don't kick this. Okay, spell reflection is up because you have a very limited window. It will only last 5 seconds. There's a very if they kick the spell reflect that you're gonna do, you're not going to get it again. It's a GCD wasted. So this is where I communicate with my party. Like, okay, spell reflection's up. They know not to kick. Let it happen. And then you kind of work your way from there. And as well, a very, very nice 4-minute... I know it's on a 4-minute cooldown, but taunt all enemies for you for 6 seconds. Oh, I love Challenging Shout. Because I make mistakes. I am a human being. And Challenging Shout works really, really well. So if you made a mistake, you made a bad pull, Challenging Shout, you fix that bad pull. You know, they're running after your range. They're not running after your range anymore. It just sucks. It's on a 4-minute. I'd prefer to see it around 2.5 to 3, but that's just me. You work with what you got. Shattering Throw, I really wish I had more to say for this. Hakar right now is a big boss that's, you know, that has that consumption, is a good one on the last boss of Tuna Scythe. But there's just not a crazy amount of use for Shattering Throw outside of PvP. But where it is useful, it is very, very useful if you need to chunk down Hakar's Absorb Shield and things like that. So find use for it when you can, and when it is useful, it is very, very useful. But right now it's kind of a niche item. So those are my... That's my difference. Personally, to me, Prot Warrior is the winner. I have been having a lot more fun on the Prot Warrior than I had on the Blood DK running Mythics, but I think that's because I'm a lot more zoomy. That's a lot more movement, and just having fun with Spell Reflection ever since I've learned how to use it right. It's been hella fun playing with it. Please don't make fun of me for my trinkets. I know I have the wrong ones. All my other characters are getting all of the trinkets, and this one here is just getting nothing. I farmed the other side so often to try and get the tanking trinket there. Will not drop. Save my life. Unfortunately, that's just the way she's going to work. I'll get them when I get them. I did get the tanking trinket from Sun King Salvation in the raid, the cheat death, but I gave it to our main tank, and she came in to help us, and it happened on stream. It was pretty funny, but I gave it to her because she wanted and needed it, and I'm not dying enough for a cheat death. If it was my Blood DK, I probably would have kept it, but I just don't need enough for a cheat death on the Warrior. Things have been smooth sailing all around, and lots of fun. The two stats that you want to prio for a Prot Warrior are Haste and Versatility, pretty much the same as the Blood DK, and then Mastery and Crit. All in all, might not be meta, but I think you're going to have crazy amount of fun with Prot Warrior, and as you get geared and get going, you're going to see that a lot of fun. It's a struggle before you get Thunderlord. Farm Spires of Ascension. Get this made as fast as possible. Trust me, you will not regret it, because that Thunderlord changes everything. Having Demo Shout down to 20 seconds, the rage generation, all of it is a total game changer in how you are able to play, how you are able to tank, and how you are able to work everything. The healers in the guilds literally said pre-legendary, it was you're a nightmare to try and heal, because you don't have as much mitigation up, because you don't have as much rage, so you can't ignore pain or shield block or anything as much as you want, and it's just tough. After the legendary, whoo, they're like, oh dude, you're easy. Like, I'm trying to do more damage now and get my DPS meters up more than I'm trying to heal, because I'm not taking the damage. I'm mitigating so much of it through ignore, pain, shield block, and Demo Shout that you're very, very survivable, and it's just how it works. So to me, in my opinion, Prot Warrior is a clear winner, but that's because it suits me and my playstyle. Do I still love the Blood DK? Absolutely. Am I still gonna play it? Absolutely. It is tons and tons of fun as well. My big thing right now is just the mobility. I'm having so much fun with that mobility that's the way it's going to work. So I stream on Twitch every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Come on by, check it out for the World of Warcrafts. And Sundays is D&D night. That all those links are in the doobly-doo below. If there is content that you would like to see, another versus, I could probably level up these characters and get them going. I just got a marksman hunter that I cannot get a weapon to save my life for. Everything is above 171, except for my poor weapon, which is eye level 140, because the gear leveling system in PvE is atrocious right now. Just to give you a little story, I ran 16 mythics on my warlock with no drops. Nothing. I have not gotten a raid drop on my warlock in over 2 weeks. Nothing. Literally nada. I'm really mad. How am I supposed to... Why am I spending 20 hours doing mythics, mythics and raiding every week to get absolutely nothing? This is something Blizzard has said that they're going to try and fix and work with, because they scaled it way too far back. So I'm really, really hoping there's going to be a good fix there. Aside from that, what's your opinion? Blood DK, Warrior? Let me know down below. Is there something I missed that you think that, is much more relevant than what it should be? Let me know as well. Please be nice. I'm just kind of starting to try and get into these WoW vids and things like that and working them out. But aside from that, Blood DK, Warrior, both fantastic picks. Don't listen to what the meta are saying. Have a lot of fun. Get good at your class, and get the right legendaries and work with it, and you're gonna have tremendous amounts of fun. So aside from that, we'll see you guys in the next video. Have yourselves a good day, and I hope you guys are enjoying Shadowlands as much as I am. Have a good one.